Welcome back to Transform, everyone. I'm so fired up about our program today because what we are going to do will directly affect your personal health and fitness journey in your life. Because to my right today, this remarkable man with nearly 30 years of experience in personal, in group, transformational leadership and coaching. Mark, this is Mark Petrov here, guys.
Thank you, Juliette. She's really inspiring to me, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, Mark. Team, I want to share a story with you how I met Mark. Mark, fortunately, lives in Orlando, Florida. And right before I launched my YouTube channel, I had the privilege to be coached by Mark. And I know Mark doesn't like to get a credit for other people's successes, but Mark, you have mine because you made a huge impact on my decision to completely pivot from what I was doing at that time and live my professional life inspiring people. And most importantly, Mark helped me to uncover that personal courage and power within me. Mark, why don't we talk a little bit about you first? Because you have such a variety of life experiences and skills to share with everyone. And I want you to know, Tim, how Mark can help you.
Well, Juliette, I have a very unusual pathway in life. It doesn't really fit great with a headhunter, but it's been great for coaching because I've done so many different things, and I've been very grateful for that pathway. So it's taken me from construction and architecture through, asset management and property management and real estate and stock market trading and all kinds of things. So here I am.
You coach executives, you coach couples, you coach businessmen, you coach government leaders. You have so much knowledge to give to everyone. I mean, and you did a coaching around the world. And if I remember properly, you actually been one of the leader coaches for the Tony Robbins.
Yes, I was a coach for Tony Robbins' company,
Amazing,
and
guys.
It was a blessing because they did send clients to me from all over the world, and it was a great experience. And a lot of training too. We had like 300 hours of training.
Wow. So today, before we dive a little bit deeper, I want to begin our conversation or coaching session. I don't even know how to explain it, but guys, prepare to take notes because you're going to hear a lot of useful information. First of all, I want to spend a little bit time with Mark talking about why it's so important to maintain strengths and balance in between all of the areas of our life of personal development and transformation, and what those areas are.
Yeah, well, some people focus on one thing and then other areas are falling off and they wonder why they stall out. So it all works together, like our mental attitude and our emotions and our relationships definitely affect our income and careers, and health and fitness gives us the energy to do all that. So if we die out in that area, we're not going to make it to the finish line. So it all counts, and spiritual pathway is very important as well.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about physical aspect of the personal development and transformation. It sounds kind of complicated, but actually what it is, we must put our health as a number one priority, right? Because then from there, we can have a strong minds, then we have a strong bodies, then we can expand, grow, and learn and take care of other people as well, build a social connection. So why don't we touch base a little bit, just actually how to find that motivation every single day. And Mark is in a great shape, obviously, and he can teach you a lot of stuff.
Well, I believe we have a body, but we're not a body. And if we don't take care of our body, it's what we use to move through life. So it is very important.
It is very important. So what do you use personally as your motivational strategy every day, every week, every month to stay in shape, to stay on top on your daily fitness? Because I know you exercise every single day. And Mark also plays different sports. But what do you actually do? Let's give people some tips how to stay motivated all the time.
some of it is individual, you know, what motivates one person may not do it for another. But for me, I can't stand being out of shape. It's just the worst feeling. So you know, if I go through a little period where I start feeling sluggish, I just do what it takes because I love feeling that sense of energy and vitality and enthusiasm for life.
Would you say that your physical body, your physical form will directly affect how your personal growth, which direction your personal growth is taken from there?
Very much, very much. Even spiritually, if somebody is sick and fearful, how's that going to help their spiritual pathway at that point? So, you know, it all ties together. It all ties together.
What would be your like a number one advice? Start to taking care of your physical body.
Well, you have to find the leverage. So a lot of people struggle with losing weight, for instance. I'll give an example. I was playing a lot of basketball many years ago. I still play, but it was like almost every day. And I was eating, believe it or not, almost a half a gallon of ice cream every day. I loved ice cream. And a co-athlete came up to me and goes, "Why are you eating so much ice cream? Don't you know what that does to you?" And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "It's like glue in your blood." And I'm like, "Glue in my blood? What do you mean?" He goes, "Those sugars turn to glue. Have you ever felt that sticky feeling with ice cream?" And I'm like, "Really?" And I just almost completely cut out ice cream. Well, that was me. I'm not saying you should cut out ice cream. I am saying find the leverage that you need to make the changes that you want. And it could be something as simple as that.
So what I'm hearing, Mark, and that's a really, really, really good topic because many people, me including, we know that the certain foods are not good for us, even though I believe foods itself don't have like a halos or the horns above them. I mean, there is not like bad and good foods, but certainly abusing certain group of foods, it's not going to make us healthier and stronger. But I have a few actually questions from you guys.
Go for it.
Yeah, so about the food, and one of the most asked questions is why do I lack a motivation to lose weight? And that's actually tied up pretty close to what you said, because a lot of people, we understand that we need to lose a weight, we want to lose a weight, but for whatever reason, we can't jump start it. And that comes to that leverage in changing associations and the reasons why. So let's talk a little bit how to find that reason deep inside why I should lose the weight.
Yeah, it's finding that number one reason. It's great to have multiple reasons, but you got to know what your number one is. It could be that you want to be able to play with your kids. It could be that you want to be able to travel. Find the thing that's going to make you go for it, because any goal is a challenge, right? And it has obstacles. It's going to have distractions. So you need to overcome the obstacles and distractions with that higher purpose that's going to blow through them.
With a higher purpose. So let's, for example, so we all on one page. Let's talk about the woman who is 45 years old, in a relatively good shape, but waking up in the morning with a very low amount of energy, can't make herself to get up and to make up 30 minutes workout, 20 minutes workout, 1 hour workout. So, and then that would go on a daily basis, a weekly basis, monthly basis, and then it becomes harder and harder and harder to commit. So what would you say she would have to do the first thing to find that power within?
Well, the coaching structure really is getting honest about where you are, number one.
I agree.
Number two, where do you want to go? You know, where do you want to be? And then you set up a plan to get there, and you have to set up the things that are going to overcome those obstacles and distractions along the way. So, but that first step is getting really honest about where you are. I had a trucker from Canada call me as a client. He weighed 450 pounds. He was so obese that his stomach was pressing against the steering wheel. He couldn't move it back anymore. He was about to lose his job, which the money was going to build his dreams for a business that he had started on the side. So his whole dreams were about to be evaporated because he couldn't lose weight. Well, he was finding the leverage to make some changes. We had him walk at every truck stop, cut some things out of his diet that were very acidic, that were building up the acidosis and the weight. He lost 150 pounds in a period of 3.5 months.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So how's he doing right now?
You know, I've been out of touch with him, but he did expand his business, which was his real dream.
That's fantastic. So his leverage was his business and his family, and
keeping his job.
And keeping his job. Yeah. So guys, we always look for the first thing is the leverage. That one thing why you should do something that's gonna, and just like Mark said, we need to be honest with ourselves. At first, we need to recognize that the change needs to be done. Finally, and that's going to be your first step. Okay, let's just move on. I wanted to talk, if someone would ask me what would be the one habit you should cultivate, Juliette, on a daily basis, I would say it's a gratitude.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I would say it's a gratitude, and we already talk about the gratitude during our workout sessions, and how gratitude can empower your life and simply even reduce the stress and enrich the relationships, and even have a profound effect on the business and financial success. And I don't know anyone better, and I will reveal it in a few minutes, than Mark, to share with you why gratitude, success, and health and happiness comes hand to hand in life.
Well, yeah, a lot of people have talked about gratitude. It's certainly on the internet more than I've ever seen. It's very basic. We focus on what we feel, and when we're feeling gratitude, that expands what we're able to receive. And if we're feeling the opposite of gratitude, it closes down what we're able to receive. So it's basically a receiving mechanism, because it's expanding our awareness of what we're already being given. So, you know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, feeling's worth about 1,000 pictures, and that gratitude is part of that feeling.
Because what we feel, we eventually become.
Yeah.
What we feel, we eventually become. Mark, would you share some of your, I wouldn't say it's a strategist, but some things what you personally use to stay grateful and to practice the gratitude on a daily basis?
Well, you know, when people point to themselves, they don't go here, they point to their heart, right? So I like placing my hand in my heart and just feeling the things that I have received, the guidance, the financial inspiration, the relationships, the health. My gosh. I've had periods where, you know, I've had struggles with different things, and almost everything goes out the window as far as a priority when that happens. So, you know, just to have health every day is so remarkable. And yeah, the guidance is a big part of my life, where I ask for the guidance and I realize the guidance that I've received.
Yeah, that's certainly a big part of my life too. Like I personally have a gratitude journal, and part of it started with Mark 3 years ago. I was so busy and so trying to find myself, and Mark helped me realize, I mean, as well, that the gratitude is that's the first thing you start to do, and then from there you simply see all other opportunities and possibilities opens in front of you once you become grateful and you realize that. I have a couple more questions, guys, from you, which I wanted to bring up. And one of those questions, it's actually probably second to most asked questions. How can I improve myself every single day? How can I improve myself every single day?
Well, one thing is we we progress in things that we measure, right? So, you know, if we measure anything, we're going to get progress on it. Andrew Carnegie was a steel magnate, and he had this one plant that was underperforming massively. So they had them measure everything from bathroom breaks to production to everything. And that became one of their top plants. So just a business idea, but it works in everything. So, you know, how kind were you today on a scale from 1 to 10? And then tomorrow, how kind were you? And you'll see that even just being more kind connects you with life, and you feel the support of life more. So you can measure anything. Just throw an arbitrary scale of 0 to 10 on it.
So what you say, the one of the tools to improve, to keep improving yourself every single day, because we all know that this is a never-ending journey of improvement and healing and transformation, and getting stronger, getting faster, getting smarter.
That's right.
It's a never-ending journey. But what I'm hearing Mark saying is it's really important to measure where you are, so you know what to do the next step. So if you did a 10 minutes workout today, make sure that tomorrow you do 15. If you add one healthy food in your diet, let's say it's an apple, tomorrow you add another one. So it's really important to have a measurable result, so you know how fast or how slow your improvement is going. That's a very good tip, Mark.
And I would add to that is, in life we don't progress on this perfectly linear scale. Sometimes we have dips, sometimes we have retracements. That's all part of it. It's being compassionate enough with ourselves to realize that it's all part of the journey, you know.
And that actually takes me to the next thing, because Mark is really, Mark would be a perfect person again to talk about it. What would you recommend people if they fell off track of staying healthy, let's say eating healthy, exercising every day, or maybe 6 days a week? What would you recommend them? How would you recommend them to look at that? Because I know it's a struggle for many people. Once they slide off a little bit, it's really hard to come back.
Yeah. So what would we do if we had a child that was learning to ride a bike and and the bike tipped over? You know, we wouldn't abuse the child, hopefully. We would say, hey, get back on and try it again. Or when they're learning how to walk. That's probably a more perfect example.
Yeah, that's a good
Takes
example.
a lot of, trials to get them to walk. So that's us, and when we slip a little bit, we just recognize where we are and we get back on the journey.
Well, yeah, it's how many tries would you give your child to walk?
That's right. That's
10,
right.
15, 20. Well, hopefully you're gonna let them try until they walk, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's exactly what it is. So if we slip from our pace, right, Mark, we just get back where we left, and we just keep going. That takes us to the next thing I wanted to discuss today. We all in times feel sometimes disappointed with life, maybe disappointed with relationships, maybe with our personal achievements. And if you haven't experienced that yet, just wait. It's called life. That's gonna come, and it happens from time to time. It's not necessarily 1 or 2 times. It's kind of a fluctuation, and it seems like some people deal with that so perfectly. And for some people, it's a very big challenge, and it takes them down for a long time. And what if you've been given just the simple tools to overcome this, and to overcome this underlying fear, that core fear of not being enough, of not being good enough, or not feeling good enough, or say in other words, not being worthy of love. Mm-hmm. And I think Mark is one of the best people to share, because he has an incredible book, guys, which called Being Love. And I want him to share with you a little bit about the book.
Well, I feel more like I received the book versus writing the book. And there are times I read the book to learn from it. So it's not like I've mastered it all, but it has 26 subjects about unconditional love, and so it's BEING, being love, and it's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. But it's basically a book of expanding consciousness in different ways that we do that through things like gratitude and being willing and being respectful and compassionate and all those things we know about, but it breaks it down with examples and ideas that you can really use.
Yeah, I read the book. I read the book Being Loved, and this book empowered me and inspired me in completely different ways. I would say it's not that I didn't know, but it's a completely different way of empowering than I knew before. So I strongly recommend you to download that book, and I will. I know Mark didn't want me to promote his book, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to put for you link down below in the descriptions where you can check out the book if you like it. It's on, and you said it's on Amazon Prime and the Barnes and Nobles,
or
right?
Amazon, yeah, and
Yes.
Barnes and Noble, yes.
Well, so we had such a great time today, Mark. But I'm a practical girl,
Yes.
and I'm sure.
And driven.
Yeah, practically and driven. And I'm sure our viewers today will live inspired and motivated to continue to grow, to continue to improve, to continue to exercise, to continue to eat good, because it all comes in one big package. But I want to leave people with some tools today. Mark, will you share with us your, I don't know, top 5 or top 6, top 5 or top 6 things you do every single day to stay on top on your daily fitness, on your growing and transforming, on your gratitude, on your social connections, on your giving back to others?
Well, that's a big subject, but there are a few things that I turn to all the time. One is asking for guidance, because for instance, I'm also a stock market trader, and the world changes constantly and corporations change, and so that's something I ask for guidance on every single day, and I've been doing it 35 years. So the other one is that sense of gratitude, either early in the morning or late at night when I'm in bed. And then, finding what brings you joy and peace. I'm a painter, and when I paint, I don't even hear sounds. So finding something that brings you peace, that you can restore, because we live in a stressful world, and it's finding those things that bring peace. In relationships, they're so key. We're not going through this world alone. So relationships, how can you improve the quality of those relationships? Might be a note, could be a kind deed, could be having fun, laughter. There's so many things, simple things. They don't cost money. So
Yeah, it doesn't cost money to make someone happy.
that's right.
Just with a kind compliment, kind word, or even a smile sometimes. The good genuine smile can change person day and maybe even person life.
Yes. And I will say one thing that may seem from left field, but I turned vegan many years ago, and there's a lot of, talk about pluses and minuses of that. I did it for one reason. I learned that the endothelial cells are the animal proteins attach to the endothelial cells and make oxygen flow more difficult. And when I found that out as an athlete, it was over for me. So I made the change, and I am so grateful, because I play with middle school kids and I have more energy than they do.
Mark, would you recommend any books, any sources for people to learn about it? Because it's incredible, but just for these few weeks, I interview a few people. I had those friendly conversation who mentioned being vegan, and it wasn't even included in my questions, in my topics, but people just bring it up as a part of health and success and the happiness strategy. So do you have any Any sources, any books to recommend people to read?
Well, I actually have a Netflix special. It's called What the Health.
What the Health?
What the Health.
I think I watched
Yeah.
that. And there is also Forks Over Knives.
Yeah,
Forks Over Knives
and
and What the
there's-
Health.
And there's Cowspiracy.
Cowspiracy. I
Yeah,
haven't watched that.
yeah.
I need to watch that.
And the latest one is just amazing because we realize what's going on with our Earth, and if we don't make some changes, we could be in for some serious doo-doo. And that is Breaking Boundaries, the Science of the Earth.
Breaking
Just
Boundaries.
phenomenal.
I need to make a note of it too. Would you say, one more thing, Mark, would you say that becoming a vegan affect your health and fitness?
Oh, dramatically.
Can you share it with
Yeah,
the audience?
I had, even though I was exercising all the time, I had some heart issues. I'm like, what's going on? After probably 2-3 months of being vegan, completely disappeared. Sleeping better, more energetic, mornings energized, everything.
Can you tell the difference? Because you are a strong man, and by the way, guys, Mark is 6'5" tall, really tall and very muscular and working out all the time. And there is a myth, and I keep trying to break that myth among my community, which is very hard because I'm a small, petite woman. And there is a myth that you can't have a strong and fit body as a man being a completely vegan and stay away from the animal products. Mark.
Well, first of all, the strongest animals on earth are vegan. Elephant. It goes on and on. I don't want to name them all, but they're out there.
That's a very good observation.
Also, all protein comes from plants because the meat comes from plant-eating animals. So
I have never thought about that in that way, actually.
All protein comes from plants. So number 3, there are ways to get plenty of proteins being a vegan. There's BCAAs, branched chain amino acids. There's pea protein, which is amazing. And almost all vegetables have protein in them. So no worries about protein.
Mark, do you take any supplements?
Yes. I do eat plant-based vitamins, which are very essential. A lot of people are lacking magnesium. Our soils are deficient of them. So magnesium is involved in something like 90 out of the 105 enzymatic functions in the body. We need magnesium. So I take a magnesium supplement, pure. And electrolytes. Gosh, electrolytes energize us. So I'm big on electrolytes.
Do you take it after the workout?
Sometimes before, sometimes after, sometimes both. Oh, and L-glutamine is amazing for the stomach, the brain, the muscles. L-glutamine.
Takes me to the next one and pretty much final question or discussion. How do you feed your mind every single day? And I want you to share how important it is to the wholesome personality of the human being.
Well, some people are designed as learners. That's like a big thing for them. That's me. So I have a library of 500 books. In the 1800s, the most valuable thing to people was their library. So, and I do a lot on Audible. It could be 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll wake up and listen to some Audible, and so I'm constantly learning that way.
That's a very wonderful tip because I use Audible.com all the time. I don't have time to read. I love to read. I don't have time to read, but I have about 250 Audible books in my Audible library on the
We should get a contest.
On the subscription. I know. Well, you have a 500 in your real library, but I listen it when I'm driving. I'm listening when I'm driving. I'm listening if I'm walking in the park by myself alone, and that's my personal growing in, and that's my personal growing in transforming time as well. So thank you so much, Mark, for coming today.
It's been a blast.
And share with us your wisdom. Team, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions and you wish to connect with Mark, tell my audience how they can connect with you.
I'm very
if
private.
They want
You
to.
can't find me. I'm just kidding. So I actually took down my website, but I'm available at lifecoachmark@earthlink.net by email, or you can reach Julia.
Yeah, I will put it in the description down below, guys. And
Juliette.
Mark's still doing a coaching. I don't know about his availability, but I know Mark's still doing a coaching. So if you want to reach out to him, feel free, or you can reach to me, and I will see you all in our next video.
Thank you, Juliette.
Bye, Mark.